Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Comentarios Económicos, Economic Remarks, the program from Camacol that every Saturday you have in this channel. Today we have a program about something that is very, very special for everyone, the real estate business. Everyone has the American dream, has buy a house, keep a house, have a mortgage, and payments, and so much. So the realty, that's the word, the realty is a business that has gone through highs and lows and everything because it's a market, and every market has not controlled by anyone, has these up and downs. And that's the reason why we have now an up or a down way. We don't know, so we have today an expert, something that is a member of Camacol, whose business is to be a realtor. So welcome my friend Carlos Martínez.
Thank you very much.
Who is coming to try to explain us what is going on with the realtors. So go ahead.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Well, basically, the real estate market right now depends on who you ask. You can ask 5 different people and get 5 different responses. In my professional opinion, we're doing very well right now. I say that because although there were many predictions for 2019 that there could be another bubble and that interest rates would be so high that people would not be buying, it's not necessarily the case. For example, the condominium townhouse market from March of 2018 to March of 2019 has jumped up to 17.7% of closed sales from last year. That's a remarkable jump. In terms of the average sale price, the only difference has been last year, an average sale price for a condominium or townhouse was about $404,000 as to $407,000 this year. So that's a 0.06% difference. Now, new listings were pretty much the same at 2.2% from last year to now. New listings are listings that are input into the MLS in the month of March. And active listings were pretty much at 2.1%. Minor differences from last year to this year. However, the months of inventory storage that we have is decreased to 4.7%. That's not a huge figure, and these figures fluctuate from month to month. For example, January was a terrible month in real estate according to the numbers. February, it changed completely, and then changes. It even goes down to specific neighborhoods, how it fluctuates. So those numbers are relatively good in my opinion. You ask anyone in the business, they're going to tell you, no, it's not looking good. There's a shortage of inventory, and I'm very optimistic. I think if you have breath in your body and you need to buy a home, I will find it for you. If you need to sell it, I will sell it for you.
I think that the realty people are in 2 different kinds. The ones who are pessimistic always, and the ones who are optimistic always.
Yes.
Because I think, you tell me if this is right or not, but I think that realty prices and realty booming and things that are a result of the global economics. Yes. Global economics has been nice, extremely well under this president. Mm-hmm. We have been 3 years of booming, growing, with the records in everything. When people have money, people buy houses. If people doesn't have money, cannot buy houses. That's the signal. The American dream means that you don't have to pay for your rent. You have to pay for your mortgage, and then you are accumulating, you are making a waste money, that is rent, in active, that is, it will be part of your money bank. So absolutely. It is important for people, this American dream. This American dream is not the way that people say that the American dream is to have to work the whole night. But that's a joke. But The problem is that I think that normally this market has to be a growing market, and the growing market always takes the prices up.
Yes.
And we have a second problem, in my humble opinion, in Miami, in South Florida, that is the extreme input of foreigners. Foreign money come here in very great amounts, from Argentinians, from Brazilians,
Yes.
from Venezuelans, that was running out from Venezuela, people with money, from Europe,
Germany.
from Russia.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you have these big buildings that have been in apartment houses, and they are all bought by people that is not from Miami.
Mostly downtown Miami. Yeah.
Downtown
mostly.
Miami is something like a Central America, Miami.
It's a melting pot. It's a melting pot.
A melting investment
Yes.
pot.
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
Well, in terms of speaking about optimistic and pessimistic, they have a saying where they say, if you see the glass of water half full, you're an optimist. If you see it half empty, you're a pessimist. I'm a different breed. I'm thankful to God that I have a glass and that there's water in it. So I'm very always optimistic that things will go well. But yes, this market is very, very diverse. It's, for example, the single family homes, now the closed sales have gone down from last year at the same time, 1.9%. It's not a huge deal when you think of average sale price has gone up. They've gone up from, it was $530,000 last year for a single family home, the average, to now it's $546,000. So it's gone up 2.1%, which is a good sign. New listings have gone down 4.1%, but then the active listings, which are the listings that are at the end of the month, have gone up to 8.2%. The interesting part is that the monthly inventory supply that we have for single family homes is up 6.5%. That goes against everything that everyone is talking about. Everyone says that there is a shortage of property. It depends on the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. There's certain neighborhoods where you put a property up for sale and a sign up and you have an offer and a closed sale within 30 days. There's other places, for example, Coral Terrace is an area that I know well. I've seen houses there for sale for a year and a half. Normally when that happens is 99% of the time the property is not priced correctly. Mm-hmm. The market will not pay something that does not have the value in it. So if you want to know if your house is priced incorrectly, if it's sitting there for more than 60 days, 90 days, that means that the price is wrong. I understand. People are attached to their home. They go online today to Zillow and to these other websites and they say, oh, your home is worth $800,000 when it's really worth $5 million. And then you need to explain that to the homeowner that, look, this is an algorithm that a computer is generating. This is what has sold in your area. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, this is the reality. I have to tell you the truth because I never promise my clients anything except two things. Not that I'm going to get them the most amount of money, not that I'm going to sell it in a week, but that I'm not going to lie to them and that nobody's going to work harder than I am in getting a home sold or finding a home. So those are many of the factors that come into the real estate market now. And as you were stating previously, right now the unemployment rate in the U.S. is about 3.6%. In Florida, it's 3.5%, and in Miami-Dade County, it's 3.4%. We're doing very well. I mean, those people that like to instill fear into everyone, that's a lot of times they're trying to get attention, make a name for themselves or whatever, but the real estate market is strong. They said that we would be in the 5.5% interest rate for mortgages at this time. We're at 4.0. Okay, and the APR is at 4.094. Interest rates are low. Unemployment is low. So, the buyers are out there. And the sellers are out there as well. People ask me every day, when is a good time to buy a house? Yesterday. Yes. Yesterday was a good time to buy a house. Today's a good time. Why? Because in about 5 years, you're going to have equity in your home. Uh-huh. The real estate market has always gone up in value. It's the safest investment that you're ever going to make. But unfortunately, when we saw the crash back in 2006, 7, and 8, that was something out of the ordinary.
But that crash was something very special.
Yes, yes.
Because it was not a crash from the realty market. It was a crash from the honest banks.
Exactly.
Banks made self guilty of that because they.
A lot of people were guilty.
Yeah.
A lot of people were guilty.
But banks were
yes.
the main culprit.
Of course.
And unfortunately, were the only ones who saved their heads.
Yes.
Because all the other ones lost everything. They didn't lose anything.
Oh, no. They got bailed out.
They
got bailed out.
And they went away.
Yeah, they got
The
bailed
people who did that went away to their home with $300, $400 million.
Oh, yeah.
So it is something, an example, a terrible example of what happens when the government put its hand in everything.
Yes.
Governments don't solve any problem. Governments are the problem.
Yes.
If you have solved that problem in another way, it's because the regulators didn't regulate anything, and the banks, there is a lot of things we can talk about that. But it was not, the culprit was not the realty market. The culprit was the banks.
Yes.
The lack of honesty of the banks.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and in my opinion, it started, probably the best time to measure it was right after 9/11, where President Bush told the American public to go ahead and purchase, go out and buy, to stop the fear that everyone had of what just happened. And then Fannie Mae tried to make the American dream available to everyone, open that subprime market. And what happened, that crash, is what happens when irrational thinking comes in with greed, and everybody lost their mind. And the things that I saw during that time were unbelievable. Starting from realtors, to appraisers, to inspectors, to banks. Everyone was in on it. Title companies, attorneys, everyone. Because when you are buying property and the appraisal comes in at 400, but you're buying it at 450, there's a problem there. That was allowed back then. Nobody understood how that would be allowed, but there was so many documents falsified. I know people that went to jail because they falsified documents, and a lot of people made a lot of money during that time. I slept very well because I did everything by the book, and I still do it to today by the book. But it was a time where God forbid, I don't want to see it again. I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime. But it was a dark time. Everybody forgot that, there's a law that exists where you can't say I'm buying 3 properties. I used to have landscapers that would come into the office when I was at the law offices and say, oh, I have 5 properties, and what are you earning a year? $50,000. That's a problem. That's a problem. So it was a time that everybody pretty much was into speculating and buying a property, selling it 3 months later, making $50,000, $60,000. It was a pretty amazing time. Thank God we've recovered from that. Every once in a while, I'll get an email from a mortgage broker saying that they're offering loans with no documentation verification. That scares me, but we're far from anything that happened in 2006 and 7 and 8. Thank God.
Well, Carlos, our time, the first time of the program is over. So I'll be back in 5 seconds after this. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the second part of Economic Remarks, Comentarios Económicos en Español. That is our program every week from the Latin Chamber of Commerce, Camacol. For those who tune it later, we have today to Mr. Carlos Martínez, who is a realtor, and we have been discussing these big things around the realty market. Realty market is something very weird because it is something that is a real market. It's a market so big that no one can influence him except very big owners in the amount of houses. But there's so many millions of houses, and it is something impossible for one to influence this market. So this has been the discussion we have with Carlos, who illustrated about those things that happened 10 years ago. Now we are in another place. We are in a recovering place from 8 years, more or less. And realty is something that Carlos understands very well. So we are going to talk about what does Carlos do now for his clients.
Thank you. What do I do for my clients is I serve my clients. We are in the real estate business. However, I consider it to be the service business. There's nothing more fulfilling than to see that couple that just got married and buy their first home and see the smiles on their faces. Yeah. And to a certain degree, I don't consider myself a salesperson. I consider myself a facilitator of people's next move in life. Most people, when they're buying a home or selling a home, it's because either they're starting a family, they need to move to a larger place, or the kids have left the nest and they need to downsize, or a change of employment, or what have you. So as to a certain degree, I'm a coach, if you will, of my clients. Many times we have conversations that have nothing to do with real estate. They just want to tell me what's going on in their life, and I completely understand. I worked 15 years in law offices and 15 years in real estate, and people are the same everywhere you go. People are human. People have problems. People want to talk about their problems. Sometimes they can't talk about their problems with their family, but they're comfortable talking with a stranger that they just met. You know, I love my job. I love being in this industry. To all the new agents out there that are coming in for the money, I hope that's not your reason, because real estate is a difficult job. You have to love it. For you to succeed, you have to love it. I have a quick story that when I first started in real estate, in my first month, I had 4 deals in a month, totaling somewhere about $200,000 in commission. I lost them all. I was about to quit. And my real estate broker said, listen, this is the name of the game. It's a numbers game. You get it back next month or in the month after that. And I stayed in, thank God, thank you to him. But it's something that it's a lot of hard work, especially when you start off.
But it's a job that has a lot of satisfaction.
Oh, much.
When you were talking about, I remember as an immigrant, when I bought my first home, the first and the only one I have bought. I have it on already. It was a feeling so different from everything else. Mm-hmm. When my wife and my sons were the first day we went to, not the first day that we bought but after we took possession of the house. It was so weird to have a house that is ours.
It's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
It's a feeling that you cannot feel anything in a second place in anywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like they say, it's the American dream, and then when you get there, it's more than that because you feel like you have stability. Mm-hmm. You have your own home, your kids are there, you're going to raise them there, and it's a wonderful thing. Paying rent.
And your home is coming valuation every day.
That's what I was going to say.
I bought my home in $160,000, and now it is valuable always $6,000.
Yes.
So it's impressive.
And it's like I said, the safest investment that anyone will ever make. There's times where, unfortunately, one has to rent for whatever the reason, mm-hmm. Credit, lack of income, whatever the reason. And I understand that. I am different in the opinion of, renting is a waste of money. Well, you're getting a shelter and you're getting a place to live. Obviously, it's not incrementing in value, but you paid X amount of dollars for 12 months, you had a roof over your head. But if you can afford to purchase a home, obviously that's the way to go. Through FHA, you put 3.5% down. You need a minimum credit score of 580. That's very low, I would say. And that's where I try to get first-time home buyers. Look, I know you don't have a lot of money and you just got married, you're just starting a family, but there's options. Before renting, ask. Many people are afraid to even get pre-qualified. To get pre-qualified, you go to either your bank or a mortgage broker, you take them your financials, and they pre-qualify you for free. So people are scared of that because they don't know the process. The real estate process is simple for me. Why? Because I'm in it. For the public, many people are scared of it. They don't know that, they don't want that rejection that they can't afford a place. But if you don't ask, you're never going to know. So what I tell them is either go to your bank. The difference between getting pre-qualified with a mortgage broker and a bank is a bank, you're going to get their one answer. A mortgage broker will give you 5 different answers because it shops it around to different banks. They're going to charge you for that when you accept it. When you go to directly to your bank, you're going to save a little money. But it's all about putting in the work. For example, many people that are selling their homes by owner, they don't want to sell with an agent. Why? Because they want to save the money. I understand completely. If you can do that, do you have the time? The time that it takes to sell a home, to invest? Because it's not just
the paperwork.
It's not just when you get home from your job to deal with people that are coming in to see your home that, number one, you have no idea who they are. They could be rapists, murderers, killers that are walking through your door because you have no idea. Number two, you don't know if they're pre-qualified to buy your home because they might have just liked the house and they want to see it. When I have a listing, you're guaranteed that the person that's going to walk through that front door is already pre-qualified. We're not playing games. We're not wasting time.
People are very funny because they think that they are professionals in everywhere. So you want to save some money with the realtor, you could save money with you being your own doctor also.
Exactly.
Why don't you share that?
There's a saying that says, a legal saying for lawyers says, a lawyer that represents himself has a fool for a client. Because the reason for that is because your judgment is clouded when you're the one that's involved in the lawsuit. The same goes when you're selling your own home. Look, you have to deal with the other agent from the other side. You have to deal with the inspector. You have to deal with the appraiser. You have to deal with the title company. You have to deal with the attorney from the title company. You need to deal with the mortgage broker. You need to deal with the bank. These are time-consuming things that most of the people don't see the work that's truly involved in getting a home sold. So that's why I go back to when is the best time? Yesterday, because in 5 years you'll have equity in your home. And then the other thing is, so I'm going to save myself the commission by selling it on my own. Well, the person that's coming in to buy is going to lowball their offer because they know you don't have an agent. Both of you can't save the commission. And the statistics say that when you use a realtor, you make, depending on the price of the property, but anywhere from 20 to 30 to 50% in some cases, more than you would do on your own. So I will always recognize the agents and the work that they put in and recommend that, when you're buying a property, an agent I don't charge you anything. If you need to find a property, I will find you a property free of charge. There's some agents that do charge. I don't charge a dime. It's free, which most people don't know that. And then selling, yes, selling I do charge because that's how we make a living. When I find you your dream home, the seller pays. When I list it, the seller pays. So the commission always comes from the seller, either way. So buying a home, you need to look and do your due diligence on the computer, look at what you're looking at, see the homes that you want, and then call an agent. Normally they don't charge you anything, and they'll steer you the right way in the entire process from beginning to end. I hold my client's hand, and I don't let go until we close. And then when we close, I still stay in touch with them because I want to know how they're doing.
But the main thing is that professionals do things professionally.
Yes, exactly.
While if you're not the professional in the market, you are not going to do the best thing for yourself.
Yes.
Trying to save money, probably would cause a loss of money.
Most of the time, that's the case. That when you sell on your own, that's what the stats say. I'm not a big numbers guy, and the reason that I say that is I don't track numbers because, like I said, you need a home, I'll find it for you. Don't worry about it. You're willing to buy a home and you're qualified, I'll find it for you. You need to sell your home. If you allow me to do my job and listen to my advice, I'm going to sell your home. If you tell me your home is worth $500,000, but you want $775,000 and that's what you want to list it at, I'm going to tell you, most likely your property is not going to sell. Okay, and then I do what my employer says, because yeah, I'll put it at $775,000, but then later on we're going to be dropping the price, which is not the ideal thing, because then it looks like, well, your property is not worth what you think it's worth, and everybody sees that. Many people put their house for sale by themselves, and it's for sale, but it's not on the market. Mm-hmm. And the difference is, well, you put up your sign, you maybe put an ad somewhere, and it's for sale. But then comes an agent with a client that's looking in your neighborhood to buy a home. And where do they go? To the MLS, the multiple listing service, where all the properties are registered. And when they look for that home, your property is not there. So what happens? They look over your property. Your property sits there for month after month after month, and then eventually you hire an agent because that's how it ends up. So it's an interesting process, one that I love to explain to people and take them through so that they realize that it's not, the biggest mountain in the world to climb as long as you have a professional that's guiding your every move. So that's what we're about. We're a company that's owned and operated by family. Like I said, hardest working, you're not going to find somebody who's going to work harder to sell your home or find you a new one. And we're never going to lie to you. We've been in business now for 9 years. And next year is going to be our 10th anniversary. So we're excited about that. That means we've gotten through the woods, so to speak.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And we hope to be here at least another 10 more years. So,
Carlos, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
What about the reverse mortgage? That is a novelty thing, or is something that is working for years?
It's been around for a while now. It depends on the equity in your home. My parents asked me about it, and I said I don't agree with you doing it. I don't delve into that very much at all. But basically, is you can stay in your home for the rest of your life until you pass away, and then whoever's remaining either has to continue with payments or they take over the property. In many cases, they'll actually pay you a certain amount of money, either in a lump sum that you get, let's say, for example, $50,000, and then you don't pay your home any longer until you pass away and your family members take over. In other programs, they will pay you a monthly payment. You choose the manner in which you want to get paid.
But you don't do that.
I don't do that, no. There's people that specialize in doing that. I don't do that because it's just not my market. What we do is we do all residential and commercial, but we specialize in residential. Anywhere from 100,000 to 100 million, we do anything.
100 million.
Yeah, we haven't had that yet,
Carlos,
but
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
The time is over because when you talk softly, the time goes away.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, my friends, to be here. And next Saturday, we'll come back with another Economic Remarks.